Thank you for attending KOIL Energy Investor Day. I'm so excited that you all are participating today. We have a lot of information, and I'm going to make it worthwhile for you guys to listen to us. We have a story to tell, both on accomplishments from the past, and more importantly, we're going to talk about the strategy going forward. We will give you a brief introduction in the beginning about who we are, what we do, what is unique with Coil. Many of you have seen this or heard this before. Some of you have not. So I'm going to go through it again and make sure you fully understand who Coil Energy is. So today, Kurt Keller, our CFO, will join us, and he will go through the recent financial presentation. We are basing this on the fourth quarter 2025, and also look at that in perspective of previous years where we are, and then we'll summarize some of the accomplishment on our roadmap. We have had a growth roadmap for the last 3 years that we've been working on. It's almost complete. So now in this presentation, I'll shift over to the next few years towards 2030. And in that presentation about the future, I'll have Chris Sebesta, Director of Business Development, join me in talking about integrated solutions. Gustavo Gonçalves, our Managing Director in Brazil, is here with us. He will talk about our accomplishments and plans in Brazil. And then we have Derek Anton, our Director of Operations, will talk about rental equipment. So I can already tell you that the three main things in our strategy is all about integrated solutions, Brazil, and rental equipment. And we're going to give you the information about that and around that so you have a full understanding of what we're planning to do here. And then I'll give you a summary and then the question and answer. So I'm looking forward to this, and thank you again for being with us. So we will share information today that includes market predictions, activity levels, and bidding activity. These are metrics and statements that talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the future, but they're forward-looking statements. So please be cautioned. We never know if we're able to fully deliver on this. And of course, converting opportunities to revenue and bottom line profit is hard to predict. So please be aware of our forward-looking statement, and you can find more information about this on our webpage on koilenergy.com. So who's KOIL Energy, and who are we really? Is a question often asked. Naturally, we are not a huge company. Those of you that know as well can answer that question, but many cannot. So awards and feedback, customer feedback, has put us in a leadership position. And we're not the biggest company in the subsea space either, but all the good feedback and the long track record we have in the industry, we can humbly call ourselves a leader in that segment. Everything that we deliver to our clients is mission critical. It means that it's very important for the client to get that equipment, get it on time, and get a solution that is reliable. We have a proven track record, 28 years runtime, and this is also needed in the subsea segment. This is a market where it is a high threshold to get into this industry. I've spent most of my career in subsea and seen many companies not succeeding in getting into this space. There's also stickiness in our relationship with the client. They do appreciate what we do, and when we do well, we get repeat orders. Our slogan is engineered for service, and the reason for that is that everything we do, delivering products, performing services, includes a bit of engineering. Everything is custom made, it's unique for that application, so there's nothing off the shelf. There's very few standard solution. So this is what we do, and this is what we're good at. So the whole supply chain that includes the various companies in this industry are very important to each and every project that you see in the subsea industry. Our role as KOIL Energy is to connect the major equipment that you have in a subsea field development. We do not provide the wellhead, the valve tree, the manifolds, the big pipelines, etc. What we provide is the connectors and the connecting activity between all those large pieces of equipment. This is our forte. This is what we're good at, and we call ourselves the plumber and the electrician of the subsea industry. And it's actually many similarities to those trades. So our job is to make sure that everything works at the end of the day, and that includes significant products that goes in with that, as well as the services to actually connect it, and then making and test this and making sure it actually works. So that's our role, the plumbers and the electricians of the oil field. So we have a very broad offering within the subsea space. This includes about 20 different products that we manufacture and sell to the industry. And it also includes about 10 service lines connected to testing, deploying, and installing this equipment. So this is a very broad offering. Most of the smaller providers in our space don't have this broad offering. So 28 years of developing this company, excellent work done by the founder, and then all our teams in the past to put us into this position. This is very unique in the industry. KOIL is a unique company. We offer something that the customer appreciate, and we have developed this product portfolio and service portfolio over 28 years. This is really a fantastic position. So the various products and services are separate. They're individual products and individual services. They may be that are sold in a purchase order, but we also bundle many of these products and services, and we now are providing systems that include multiple products and services. So I'll get back to that a little bit later on. We have an experienced labor force. When I joined the company more than 2 years ago, this was one of the first thing I noticed. We have engineers, we have operators, service technicians, salespeople, professionals that have been in the industry for many years, but also been with the company for many years. So we have 10 years of 10 years and above, which is also unique in this industry. So our teams understand the business. They understand the application that the customers have, and they do a really good job. The feedback we always get from customers is exceptional. So this is a unique company also from the perspective of our team and our personnel. So we have about 80 people today, expanding every month with new people to bring on board. And the question we often ask ourselves, are we doing this well? Are we expanding the organization in a controlled manner? Is KOIL scalable? That's a very important question when you have a growth strategy, right? So over the past couple of years, what we have done is to ask ourselves, who's KOIL? Who are we really? Why are we successful? So we put together a team of employees, some new, some older, and some from operations, from service, and also some managers. And we asked them these questions, and they were all the questions in the beginning was, different answers to those questions, but then it started to come together. And so this is not something we have invented or created. This is actually describing the company the way it is today. And it's very important to understand that, and particularly when you grow. As we scale the company and bring new employees on board, we got to be able to tell them who we are and how we do business, right? So we have a very clear mission that is so customer focused. It's all about helping them get to oil and gas production. And what is an interesting topic here is sort of what's our work philosophy? What is unique with us? What makes us successful? So that's what I call the business DNA. That's our philosophy, and it's clearly all about speed and collaboration. And that means that anytime a customer give us a call asking a question, wants a quotation, we respond very quickly. And it's not within days, it is within hours. And when we do that, we have skilled people addressing those issues, and then we can tell them, give them an answer, or we can tell them when they get that answer, and then we collaborate. Then we work together in order to come up with those solutions. So that's the responsiveness that our clients really appreciate, and is reflective through the way we work. As you visit our KOIL campus, is a fully integrated campus here. So we have everybody located together. So you have engineers, designer, project manager, operations, and service technicians working together. They huddle together to solve problems. You can see it here. Nobody's working from home. Everybody's here, and we contribute to finding that solution together. That is what KOIL is, and that is the unique description of KOIL and why we are successful. So this was developed by that team. They asked a question and sharpened the answer. So now we are able to crystallize who we really are, and I really think this is supercharging the whole organization, and why we can scale this the way we believe we can. Intellectual property is very important in the subsea industry, or in oil and gas in general. This company have patents that are very critical to our operations, and we are now in a program that we have started a year ago, where we are focusing on patenting much more of what we're doing. And when I see what we do here today, and the engineers and designers didn't really acknowledge that right away, but every day we create new intellectual proprietary solutions. The reason is that the clients come to us with problems, we solve them. That is intellectual property. We don't always want to patent it because we want to keep it as a secret, but then much of it we do patent, and I'm pleased to share with you that one of our new patents were awarded in last month, and this includes a automatic latching connector where you take the riser or the umbilical or the cable to connect it to the top side, and which has to be done in a safe manner, and has to be done in an efficient manner. So this solution is automatic. We don't need the ROV support that we usually require. So this is a new patent for us. We plan to double the number of patents within the next couple of years, and these patents are excuse me. These patents are not, something we're starting to work on now. This is the pipeline of patents that we already have submitted applications to. So the process takes a couple of years, 2 to 3 years. So this we know for sure that this will be something that hopefully will be awarded when they come through. So patents, very important to reflect the enterprise value of the company, but again also a great example of the effort that the teams put in here to grow the company. All right, so let's take a look at our financial performance over the last quarters. And this is information that is out there. it's now based on the fourth quarter 2025, but we want to take a look at what does that look like, and what does it look like over several quarters. And Kurt Keller, our CFO, will take you through that. Kurt.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, I'm Kurt Keller, and I'm CFO of KOIL Energy. Next week, we will be announcing the first quarter results for 2026. Having said that, we want to review the latest quarterly financial results as of year end. Our quarterly revenue grew 22% year over year in the fourth quarter, from the fourth quarter of 2024 through the fourth quarter of 2025. Sequentially, it grew 14%. What we're seeing are larger jobs. While we are getting these larger jobs, they're still coming in at decent margins. And importantly, we are getting a more diverse customer base. We've never been reliant on just one customer, but our growth has been diversifying our customer base and has allowed us to de-risk in that side where we have a larger portfolio of customers to draw from. Looking at our product revenue, we saw a 21% year-over-year growth in the fourth quarter and a 27% sequential growth from the third quarter. Much of this was due to a large greenfield project, which will last for 15 months and was announced in August of 2025. We also had much more work in our fabrication shop. As discussed before, 90% of our fabrication is in-house, and this was an area that we could use and utilize more effectively to drive more throughput. Our service revenue grew 24% year over year in the fourth quarter. On a sequential basis, it was mostly flat with actually a 5% decrease, but that was from an already solid amount. There is substantial demand for our skilled personnel out in the oil fields. We pride ourselves on supplying people with long tenures, and we're seeing some payoff of that. We know too that equipment in the market is lacking. There's been a dearth of equipment investment by the larger oil field services companies. They have been very cash flow disciplined, which the market likes, but it also gives us an opportunity to invest in key pieces of equipment and for our existing equipment to become more fully utilized, which is also in the service revenue category. For the second half of the 2025, we see a strong recovery from the first half. During the first half, like a lot of companies in our space, we were impacted by the tariffs and our customers' reaction to them. As a result, we had lower utilization of our personnel and our top line suffered. In the second half of 2025, we won large projects and we were able to put our people to work. We demonstrated what can be done with our company when it's hitting all cylinders and demonstrated that what we did in 2024 wasn't just a one-time thing, that we can continue to grow and continue to develop a larger business across all our product lines.
So we developed a growth roadmap that we have been working on over the last 3 years. So this was developed in 2023, and then we delivered on that in 24 and 25. So 26 is part of this roadmap, but we have basically delivered on all these goals that we put in here. We have advanced both on the key account side, on the products and services, and our geo market as we set out. So that's why I'm presenting today the new strategy, which is our road to 2030. So what we have accomplished here overall is on the key account is to bring our customer much closer to us and then be able to deliver to them a bundle of products or a complete system. So that has taken place. On the products and services, we have expanded our brownfield offering, and we also are cross-selling some of these products in combination now. And in the geo market, we put all our effort into Brazil, and we are established in Brazil and are doing business there while we're waiting for the bigger awards in Brazil. So this has been a incredible a journey so far, and the team has really delivered on each of these goals. So I'm really looking forward to the next phase for KOIL. A way to summarize this, and our goal have always been to have profitable growth every quarter. Now, that is a tall order in a market that swings, and in the product business, we do have lumpiness in awards, and in the service industry, you have seasonality in some of the things you're doing, but our goal is still the same. We want to demonstrate to the market that we can grow every quarter. And of course, when we grow, we also want to be profitable. So if you look back in 2023, and I came on board as a consultant at the end of 2023, and the root cause of not making money consistently and not growing the company prior to that was that we were below critical mass. So that was something we determined to be, not only that this is a situation we're in, this is really the root cause. When you don't have the volume coming in to cover your fixed cost, then it's very, very hard to make a profit. So the company was focusing on a single market and few customers. Since we are in a niche segment, which is typical for subsea, we need to be global. If you're not global, you're going to be, following whatever is going on within your particular region or with the few customers you have. And things changes when you are dependent on that. So we need more regions to rely on. We needed more customers. So this is really what we set out. Now, the first target in 24 was to maximize the domestic growth, to go back to our customers that we had and just deliver more products to them and tell them that we have a big portfolio here that you should take advantage of. And they listened. They basically gave us more orders. We were able to bundle some of these things, and we picked every low-hanging fruit we can find in the market. So that was 2024, high revenue growth during those quarters and good return. So that was typically when you maximize what you had. So we started at the same time to invest in our growth. And 25 was clearly where we invested in our international growth. And in the beginning, the revenue was slightly low, but much higher than 2023. And then towards the end of last year, we started to grow again. And we spend money on our growth. So that's why our margins are slightly lower. But we expanded with 4 new clients in 25. We grew the service 45%. And then we established ourselves in Brazil, as well as the intellectual property we did. So all that doesn't come free. So we're spending money now in order to grow and invest in that. In 26, what you will see this year, okay, so we're going to deliver results from the growth initiatives. We don't need to wait years in order to have to see that growth. So we're going to continue to offer systems, cross-selling services here in our domestic market. And the high bidding activity that we see now is continuing. So the market is working with us. And we are investing in rental equipment. We continue to do that because we see that is what drives the growth in service. We have also increased our sales activities in West of Africa and recently got an award in that region. So what we're doing right now, adding more clients internationally, and we are investing in rental equipment and also in growing our system capability. Going global, that's basically where we are. But the investment are controlled, okay? So we're not going to spend all our money on growing because we got to deliver on the bottom line. So um, our we know we can deliver a high teens EBITDA. We did that in 24. And so what we've been doing now over the last year is to spend perhaps 3 to 5% of our revenue in R&D international expansion. So we're going to continue to do that. So our margins will be slightly lower, perhaps around 10%, sometimes lower, sometimes higher than that. But that's what we're aiming at while we are investing in growth. So I think we can chew gum and bicycle at the same time here. So that's what we're trying to do. All right. So we're talking about KOIL in 2030. I can't believe we're talking about 2030, but we have into 26, so it's right around the corner. So what is going to happen with this company over the next few years? So in this remaining part of the presentation, we'll talk about the favorable industry trends that we see out there. It's a bullish subsea market right now and over the next few years, and we have a long runway for growth. Three things again to remember: the integrated systems is key part of our strategy. Brazil is the major investment internationally, and rental equipment is what drives service, and we investing in it. So that's what you will see here. Industry trends at the moment has picked up speed. Part of it has to do with the crisis in the Middle East, but we are also solving a problem we had for several years, and that is the natural decline of the large offshore reservoirs that we have had developed in the past. So these are shrinking about 5 to 7% every year. So if we do nothing, we're going to run out of oil. So what is happening is that our clients are now planning to invest more. We have had 10 years of low investment. We now need to pick that up unless we're going to run into problems over the next few years. So this is a good place to be, and this is not changing soon. So we have several years here where we will see continued investment in new resources and project demands in the subsea space. Offshore is where you find the large fields. We still have going to see development and growth onshore field development. But the signals we're getting from our clients is that you're perhaps going to see less growth onshore and more offshore for several reasons. So subsea is a technology now that is acceptable for all the major clients. This is nothing new anymore. We've been around for 25, 30 years developing subsea fields, so this can be done also in ultra deep water. And what we see now is several things happening at the same time that is really exciting for us. So the long cycle greenfield developments, these are the things we hear about in the press. These are the financial decisions on large finds around the world, and you can see on this map there's many of them, and most of them are subsea wells. So this is continuing to happen, and we will continue to find large fields. Obviously, we don't know that until we do find them, but that is a very big part of the opportunity for us. The second thing that is really exciting is the subsea tieback projects. This is where the client drill adjacent wells to an existing field and tie that production of oil and gas into an existing infrastructure. They can do this much faster than a large greenfield. That's why it's so attractive to them. And this is where really KOIL fit in. This is our expertise. We've been doing subsea tiebacks for the last 20 years. So this is something that is really good match for what we can do and what the market offer going forward. The third part of this is the maintenance, because we've been around for a long time. There are equipment on the seabed that needs to be upgraded, maintained, tested, and that's also an area where our service division is really involved in. So I'll definitely call this a bullish market going forward, and we see several years ahead of us here. Just to show you some specific metrics here, why we think this is a bullish market. One of the things we're tracking is the subsea tree award, and this is where the main piece of equipment is put on a drill well, and this counts basically the number of subsea wells also. So 270 plus trees per year is a good market for us. In 10 years ago, yes, it was much higher, but since then the industry have consolidated, have shrunk manufacturing capacity. So this is a good market for the whole industry. So this is an indication for us that more work is coming, and we usually get in perhaps about a year after the award, but a very good indication on what's going to happen there. The second part is also that we are tracking when the trees are installed, and that's usually 2 to 3, maybe 4 years after it's awarded, and that is a correlates with our subsea services. So we have two global metrics in the industry that we are tracking in order to understand what's going to happen to us. So our forecasting now, it's much better than they ever have been, and we're able to see what's going to happen. So 270 trees per year going forward, very excited, very good market for us, and we see growth opportunity not only as the market is growing, but also take market share. So let's talk about that strategy. Towards 2030, we want to be a global subsea provider. That is our goal for the next few years. And I really, truly believe there's a long runway here for organic growth. We have shown that we can grow organically, that we can scale this company. Our philosophy is scalable. Our knowledge can be exported, and the broad portfolio we have of products and services is excellent. So the next few years, what we're going to do? First of all, we're going to win some foundational projects. And the reason I call them foundational is because it's going to be the big one in Brazil. It's going to be investments in rental equipment that's going to give us bigger and larger service jobs. So those are examples that really going to bring us further. So foundational projects first thing, and we're right in the middle of it now. The next step will be to deliver integrated solutions and doing this on a global basis. So we're going to expand our sales capability internationally, and that includes Southeast Asia, West of Africa, and the North Sea in order to export more of our products and services. We're also going to expand our product line in order to be able to deliver bigger systems. After that, we are seeing that there's a demand for a global rental fleet within our space. We want to establish us there, and that's going to be a step-by-step investment in new technology, as well as new investment in equipment, and we see that as an opportunity for us. Here we also see we're probably going to have the next base location already in a couple of years. That could be in the North Sea, could be elsewhere, but that's going to be a similar plan as we now have in Brazil. We're also going to expand our service base. We have a lot of interface tools with the remote operated vehicles, and we're going to expand that area. And finally, towards a full offering everywhere. So having a large and broad portfolio, we obviously are picking products and services that fits that market and slowly expanding that. So we see that by 2030, we're going to be able to offer everything in all the subsea basin, and that's in all the subsea basins, and that is truly a global subsea provider. Now, this is the organic growth, which is our highway towards 2030. However, we're going to consider M&A. We have considered acquisitions in the past and chosen to follow our organic growth plan. We are still considering those opportunities, but we're going to make sure that is in the interest of our shareholders. I've talked to many of the current shareholders and some of our new ones interested in our company. So what we're trying to do is to follow that feedback. And obviously the feedback is you got to have a good deal. And of course, we're not going to buy a company unless it's a good deal. However, what does that mean? It means that it needs to be a logical fit to what we're doing. It needs to compete with organic growth, and it needs to be something we can easily explain. I need to be able to explain to our shareholders that we're going to spend your money buying another company, either small or large, or merge with somebody, and we need to be 100% sure that that is in the best interest for the company and will lead to accelerating our growth rather than going organic. So this is part of the business, and we will consider that. But our highway towards 2030 is organic growth. So now we're going to take a closer look at some of these examples, and I'll ask my colleagues to introduce the system integration, Brazil opportunities, as well as our service rental investment.
Hi, I'm Chris Sebesta. I'm the Director of Business Development for KOIL Energy. Earlier this year, KOIL Energy announced a major milestone for our company, the award of our first integrated subsea distribution system project. This wasn't just another equipment order. This was KOIL being selected to deliver a complete subsea system for a deepwater development, representing a meaningful step forward in how we position ourselves in the market. Not just a component provider, but as a fully integrated subsea solution partner. As you can see in the simplified field layout, showing how the system connects across a subsea field, tying the host facility, umbilicals, distribution equipment, and ultimately the wells together. At a high level, a subsea distribution system is what allows an operator to control power and communications with their wells on the seabed. Breaking this down more simply, you have the umbilical termination assembly, which is the interface from the topsides facility that feeds into distribution equipment like hydraulics or electric manifolds, and then through flying leads, which carry hydraulic fluids, electrical power, and fiber optic signal out to the trees and subsea equipment. Individually, these are components, but when engineered and delivered together, they become a full integrated system that enables production. What makes this different and more valuable is that KOIL is responsible for how all these pieces work together as one. We're not just delivering hardware, we're managing interfaces between components, compatibility across suppliers, and fully system functionality from day one. For the operator, that means less risk, fewer handoffs, and more reliable outcomes. Now, from an engineering standpoint, this is where the real shift happens. Yes, a system project involves significant more drawings, documentation, and design complexity, but that's not the most important part. What truly changes is how KOIL engages and how we deliver value. Instead of designing a single piece of equipment in isolation, our teams are working across the full system, coordinating mechanical, hydraulic, electrical, and installation considerations all at once. Our engineering, manufacturing, and service teams work in parallel, not in sequence, and we actively engage with internal and client technical authorities throughout the process. This allows us to optimize interfaces early, eliminate inefficiencies between components, and design with installation and operation in mind from day one. We are looking at the project holistically, from manufacturing all the way through installation and life of field. So while the engineering scope increases, what we are really delivering is efficiency, risk reduction, and life cycle value for the client. Another key element of a system project is procurement and integration. And this is where KOIL's role continues to expand. Traditionally, we've sourced critical components from a network of qualified suppliers, managing those vendors and ensuring everything integrates in a single cohesive system. but we are now actively expanding into additional product lines, including electrical solutions. This is an important step for us. By bringing more of these capabilities under the KOIL umbrella, we are able to reduce dependency on external suppliers, improve schedule control and predictability, and ensure tight quality alignment across the entire system. At the same time, we continue to manage and integrate third-party equipment where it makes sense. So our role is not just manufacturing, but strategic combination in-house capabilities with the best-in-class external suppliers. This positions KOIL as a true systems integrator, responsible for making sure every component performs exactly as intended. Ultimately, this approach allows us to deliver a more reliable system with fewer interfaces, reducing risk, and better overall execution for our customer. Now, the next slide helps us bring it all together visually. Across the top, you can see the individual components, each with its own function, but when combined and engineered as a system, they become what you see below, a full connected subsea network. Let me quickly walk you through this system functionality using the visuals. Starting topsides, everything originates at the topside umbilical termination assembly, where the power and controls are introduced into the system. That runs down the umbilical to the seabed, where it connects to the umbilical termination assembly. The umbilical termination acts as the main interface, distributing hardware and electrical subsea services. From there, the flying leads carry those services across the field, connecting to the trees and manifolds for production. They can also connect into subsea distribution units, which enables future tiebacks and field expansion. So what you're seeing is a system that not only supports current operations, but it is designed to scale with the field over time. For KOIL, this creates a significant opportunity. We are no longer limited to a single component. We are now capturing value across multiple hardware packages, expanded fabrication and assembly, system-level testing, and additional services scopes, including installation and offshore support. It allows us to increase both revenue per project and margin opportunities while leveraging capabilities we already have in-house. Just as important, this brings us closer to the customer. We are now engaged earlier in the project lifecycle, working directly with the operators and EPCs on system-level decisions and helping shape solutions that impact schedule, cost, and production outcomes. That positions KOIL as more than a supplier. It positions us as a partner in delivering first production. This first system award is a strong validation of where KOIL is headed. Our integrated model combines engineering, procurement, fabrication, testing, and services, allows us to deliver complete subsea distribution solutions faster and with less risk. And as we continue to build on these capabilities, we see that this is a scalable platform for future growth across projects, regions, and customers.
Hi, everyone. I am Gustavo Gonçalves, Managing Director of KOIL Energy in Brazil. Our operation in Brazil, in Macaé, it's already up and running with its basic infrastructure in place. We are already providing subsea equipment storage services and support services for offshore installations. In Brazil, we have already locally manufactured and delivered 3 deployment frames for flying leads installation. Today, these assets are operating under lease with an independent operator on an offshore environment. And we continue to move forward. We are equipping the facility to support upcoming projects with greater scale and efficiency. In other words, KOIL is already turning local presence into operating capability and initial revenue. Our Brazil operation is gaining traction quickly. We are already pre-qualified as a supplier with 5 oil and gas operators, 4 major industrial integrators and equipment manufacturers, and 3 installers with a broad pipeline of opportunities. Today, we compete in both manufacturing and services with an established supply chain and technical and operational teams expanding. The Brazil model was designed as a scalable growth platform, step-by-step replicating Houston's operating structure with growth driven by contracts and real customer demand. The growth in the number of FPSOs is a direct indicator of the expansion of the subsea equipment market. As you might already know, Brazil is expected to account for around 40% of the global EPC spending between 2026 and 2030, reinforcing the strategic relevance of this market for KOIL. And the investment thesis goes beyond volume. there is proven and growing demand for subsea tiebacks, which connects new wells to existing infrastructure, reducing cost, time to production, and execution risks. This is exactly the kind of environment where KOIL Energy's technical solutions, local service capability, and operational speed create above-average value.
Hello, I'm Derek Anton. I'm the Director of Operations here at KOIL Energy. I oversee the day-to-day operations at our facility, including fabrication, our service team, and our production team. Let me start by walking through what a typical subsea distribution system looks like, because once that's clear, the role of our rental equipment becomes much more easier to understand. At a high level, you can think of this system like an extension cord in a power strip, just on a much larger and more complex scale. The umbilical delivers power, fluids, and communication from the surface, and the distribution equipment directs it to where it needs to go subsea. KOIL provides key components within that system, but more importantly, we ensure that everything functions together reliably in some of the most challenging environments in the world. Our rental equipment generally falls into a couple key categories. First, fluid and pressure systems, things like pumps. These are used for pre-charging systems and commissioning umbilicals, which is simply replacing storage fluids with field-specific fluids. These are some of the highest value assets and require our technicians to operate, which naturally expands our service presence offshore. Second, handling and installation equipment, such as tensioners, underrollers, mobile carousels, and our horizontal drive units, commonly known as our HDUs. These are used to transport, control, and install umbilicals or flying leads safely and efficiently. And third, newer and expanding product lines, like our ROV baskets. These are designed to improve installation efficiency by allowing multiple tools or components to be deployed in a single subsea trip. In deep water environments, reducing even one trip can have a meaningful impact on time and cost. We're also continuing to expand into additional installation equipment like ROV tooling and reel drive systems, which will allow us to take on a broader scope of work, increase our presence offshore, and capture more revenue per project. Now, before any of this equipment goes offshore, it goes through multiple layers of testing: factory acceptance testing, also known as FAT, and system integration testing, commonly known as SIT. What's important to understand is that these are not generic tests. Our engineering team develops project-specific procedures to ensure everything is fully functional before it ever leaves our facility. And that level of preparation is critical because once this equipment is deployed, there is no direct human access. Everything is handled remotely using ROVs at water depths up to around 9,000 feet. Now, to put that in perspective, on a deep water project, a single trip from the surface down to the seabed can take several hours. One small issue, something as minor as a leak, can result in a significant amount of lost vessel time, which is extremely costly. So the work that we do up front is really about eliminating risk and helping our clients reduce time to production. Once the equipment is offshore, that's where our rental fleet and service teams come into play. We do not just provide equipment, we provide integrated solutions where our assets and our personnel support installations as well as commissioning from start to finish. From a strategy standpoint, the key is getting your first piece of equipment onto the back deck. Once we're there, we're able to upsell and expand the scope, adding additional equipment, increasing service days, and ultimately growing the value of the project. This ties directly into the service growth that we've seen. A significant portion of that growth has been driven by expanding our rental fleet and pairing it with our field service personnel. Every piece of equipment we deploy not only generates rental revenue, but also creates additional offshore days for our technicians. And that model only works because of the people behind it. Our team brings a high level of experience and long tenure, and they're not just operating equipment, they're actively solving problems in the field. From the client's perspective, what matters most is safety, reliability, and execution. But just as important is flexibility, the ability to troubleshoot and adapt in real time. Because offshore, being slow, unprepared, or making mistakes is not just inconvenient, it's extremely expensive. That's where we believe we stand apart. Our teams are known for moving quickly, collaborating effectively, and finding solutions in challenging conditions. And as a result, we consistently receive strong feedback from our clients on our performance, particularly around preparedness, professionalism, and also execution in the field. So when you look at our rental business, it's not just about equipment, it's about delivering complete, reliable solutions in environments where failure is not an option. And more importantly, we continue to invest in this segment, expanding our rental fleet, developing new installation capabilities, and growing our service presence to drive higher utilization, increased offshore activity, and sustained revenue growth over time. Thank you for your time.
Moving on to our stock. Our current exchange is the OTC QB exchange. We note that our stock price has risen from the 50-cent range in 2023, where it traded most of the year, to below $2. We believe investors are increasingly recognizing our story, and we're continuing to promote our story and broaden the reach. We still believe our stock is undervalued at this point. One thing that we did do over the past year is get more institutional money in, and we allowed our founder to decrease their stake from 20% in 2024 to 11% in 2025. We're a relatively small cap company with about $30 million of market cap. And for investor, we think that our execution can create outsized value as opposed to a larger company.
So we have given you a lot of information here today, and I appreciate you listening to us. And thank you to my team here that did an excellent job in giving you some good examples about our priorities. So as I explained in the beginning, KOIL Energy is very scalable. Our mission is very clear, supporting clients. Our values is something we live by every day, and our business DNA, which is all about speed and collaboration, is really lived by everybody here as well. We have an interesting strategy towards 2030. We want to be a global subsea provider. And the steps we're going to take is to win foundational projects, deliver integrated solution, establish a global rental fleet, and then have a full-scale offering globally. And we will consider M&A as part of this journey, but our main road towards 2030 is organic growth. So let's hear your questions, and hopefully we can give you some good answers. Thank you. All right, we will take your questions now, and if you haven't sent them in yet, please do so now. We have a few here already. So here's the first question. Do you include people to operate the rental equipment? So we have some rental equipment that doesn't include our service techs, but most do. And obviously we prefer to have people with the rental equipment. And when you have mechanical, hydraulic equipment with control systems, we actually insist on bringing our own technicians with the equipment. So that is the exciting opportunity with expanding within rental equipment, is that you not only get the revenue from the rental, you also get the additional revenue from having additional crews out there. Here's one for you, Kurt. Can you talk about margins for products and rentals and services?
Yes, I think that layers on to what you just spoke about. Service margins can especially be rich when you get rental equipment along with the day rates that we earn from our service personnel. It's the margin that we net is pretty nice. The service equipment doesn't require a lot of maintenance, and it produces overall good margin. Having said that, product revenue can be maybe not quite as good as on average as service, but it can be pretty solid, especially when we use intellectual property and our proprietary designs.
All right, the next one here, what percentage of revenue is new clients? And this is regarding 26, 22, 27. Kurt, can you answer this one?
So when I think about new clients, for 2025, new clients comprised 10% of revenue, which is a nice bump. But what that really translates to is a lot of revenue in future years. So for those new clients that comprise 20 or 10% in 25, in the first quarter of this year, they already provided 25%. So there's a nice growth curve to that. I think in looking forward, we'll still be adding new clients. They may provide 10% of new revenue in any given year, but there's a good ramp up to that as we maybe sell an initial job or a job gets started and we end up selling them more work.
All right, next one here. This is a good one. Potential acquisitions, potential being bought, consolidation opportunities. My favorite question. So we have shared with you today our roadmap going forward, and there's a long runway for organic growth. So that's our highway, right? But we will consider M&A opportunities, and that could be acquiring technology, acquiring smaller companies, or it could be something bigger. I think that the things we have been looking at so far, and we do some surveillance here and have conversation, but nothing have come to the point where I bring it to the board yet. But obviously, if there's something interest, I will do that. What I feel we need to have is a few more years, certainly a few more quarters with good EBITDA. That will set us up for a better enterprise value in any form of acquisition, certainly when equity is involved. And right now we don't have that, so I don't think we will get the enterprise value that our shareholders are looking for. So perhaps a little bit more time here, but any opportunity that I see where we can get a good return on investment for our shareholders, we'll take a look at that. All right. How do you see the big players in the space? So we mentioned that most of our competitors are much bigger than us, and there are now 3 major providers of subsea equipment, and they are sometimes competing with us, but most often they're actually our clients. And we sell into their projects, and I think that's going to grow for a couple of reasons. First, there has been consolidation, so the capacity in the space totally is less than it was a few years ago. And when you see mergers at that level with the major service companies, they will also have to focus on what they're going to do, and then also consolidate some of their manufacturing capacity. So we have conversations with them regularly, particularly on that topic. I encourage them to give us all the subsea distribution equipment because we're best at that in the whole industry. They can focus on the bigger stuff. So I think that's going to come. That's going to happen. It's going to come our way. So that's a great opportunity there. But we have a great relationship with them because most often they are our clients. Brazil is not an easy place to do business. Why Brazil first? Well, first of all, we're not going to Brazil because it's easy. We're doing it because it's hard. And that means we need a company, technology, and the reputation of a company like KOIL in order to be successful in Brazil, which is a prime, and we perhaps share that information with you, and Gustavo talk that actually this could be the biggest subsea market in the world. So obviously we want to go after that since we want to grow. But also I have done business in Brazil my whole career. This is a very professional environment, and they're often leading the technology within deep water and subsea. So we're very comfortable in Brazil, but when we go into any new country, we are careful, we manage our risks, and we have competent people on board. The team in Brazil is the best you can pick for this job. So I'm very confident with how we have started off that venture. Why are you expanding globally, and what does that plan look like? Okay, I think we shared a plan with you, but let me emphasize a couple of things. So we have to go internationally in order to grow this company, and for several reasons. But in order to grow it, but also to be prepared for the ups and downs that is always in the oil and gas market. So we need to be in different regions and in different countries and have more customers. That will not only enable us to grow, but also make the company more sustainable. So that's why we're going internationally. And the plan, I shared that with you. And Brazil is our number one, but we are expanding in other ways elsewhere. So that is the reason we're doing it. Here's another one for you, Kurt. Do you have the balance sheet for this expansion?
Our balance sheet right now, as I mentioned before, we don't have debt on our balance sheet. We do have a factoring line. We haven't used it right now. We are opportunistically looking at other things as we are more bankable now with our track record keeps getting longer. We produce good operating cash flow as well. So I think the combination of those things gives us the support we need to do this expansion that we want to do.
Thank you. And here's another one coming in. Do you supply and offer electrical flying leads and offshore terminations right now? And yes, we do. And we have been doing that for many years. That is part of our portfolio. But we use the supply chain to do most of that work. What we want to add here going forward is to have a better offering to our clients. This is coming from the clients. They want us to do more in the electrical space of subsea. So we're going to do more, but yes, we have offered this in the past, and we are delivering projects today on that. How are you dealing with geopolitics of the global oil supply? I think, as I mentioned earlier, the political issues and the special situation in the Middle East right now have raised the awareness among politicians and investors and the operators in everywhere in the world. And what I hear from them is that they need to do more where they are. They need to secure supply in their region and in their country. And then the operators in those areas are encouraged to do that. And subsea is the primary way to do that. That is the ideal technology. It's kosher technology, been around for a long time. And that's why we see a significant growth here, because perhaps of the geopolitics. All right. And here's one. All right. Does your board have the expertise to shepherd you to growth? That's a good one. I like to talk about the board. I have a fantastic board. The board in KOIL Energy has a good mix of very astute investors and industry leaders, and they have an understanding of not only KOIL as a company historically, but also the industry. They are very supportive of our strategy. They like what we're doing, and they are encouraging us to lean forward and go after these opportunities. I'm very pleased with the board. Of course, I guess I couldn't say anything else, could I? So I think that's the last question here. This has been a great Investor Day. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for all the good questions, and thanks to you, Kurt, and the other presenters. This is really good. Now, don't leave us yet. We have a virtual tour. We just recorded it. This is exactly what's going on in the facility today, and you will see some of our great team members out there. So don't leave yet. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to KOIL Energy. I'm Chris Sebesta, the Director of Business Development. Our facility is located near the Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Texas. KOIL's facility is strategically organized to maximize throughput and maintain a high level of quality. Today, we'll be walking you through our main shop and manufacturing warehouse. Within our main shop, it is divided into the rental equipment staging and mobilization operations, as well as our control system manufacturing and testing processes. As we have a quick look, you can see several of our standard product lines, including hydraulic distribution units and steel tube flying leads, undergoing testing operations. We then see mobilization taking place, where our operations teams ensure the quality of our products prior to going offshore, supporting our clients' needs. Starting at the beginning of our manufacturing process, we have our CNC tube bender, where our engineering team develops and designs tube routes that efficiently and precisely executes this operation. What used to take weeks now can be completed in a matter of minutes, allowing for increased productivity and improved quality. We now move to one of our many carousels that support offshore installation operations by managing long cables and umbilicals. This unit, along with other assets, can be configured to allow for transportation worldwide to support our clients' project needs. This unit is indicative of KOIL's rotating equipment, which has the capability of supporting high-capacity product loads, lengths, and installation tensions. Our service teams are highly trained to operate these units and go offshore during their deployments, providing the necessity knowledge to safely execute this work. As we move to another piece of equipment, this is a horizontal drive unit. This is another variation of a carousel, but in a smaller format. Whenever we manufacture our standard product line, our steel tube flying leads, we install them onto baskets, and those baskets fit onto our horizontal drive units. The reason why we need these are to help the installation. These go onto the back deck of a vessel, manage the installation tensions. As we install our equipment, there's a lot of tensions that have to be considered, and this unit has a lot of strength, as you can see in the overall structural integrity of this unit that is used for the deployment. As we move on, you can see another core product of ours. This is our hydraulic and electrical distribution unit. This unit provides expandable services to our clients in the subsea fields and is a key infrastructure for the control systems. These units are designed to meet the client's project specification requirements, utilizing our vertically integrated manufacturing model. From engineering to execution, we tailor these units to fit within the client specifications. This unit is made up of electrical splitter, hydraulic splitter, and mud mat that all works together to provide services to the subsea asset. We're also now moving to this is our 10-ton tensioner. This is put onto the back deck of a boat. The product goes into those arms. They squeeze down and allows for it to be safely deployed offshore. We use this to manage the tension during the deployment. So we looked at the carousels that we were talking about. The carousels themselves have the product, and this product goes through this tensioner and allows for the holdback for the product to be able to grab onto it. And during the installation, there's a lot of tension that we need to be aware of.
Hello, I'm George North, Key Account Manager for KOIL Energy, and I'll be hosting you for the remainder of this virtual tour. Here you'll see that we have our subsea deployment frame basket, which is a continuation of our rental fleet assets. This particular unit is something that's commonly used within the industry. However, we've added our KOIL flare to it. You'll see the yellow pieces, which are an adapter plate that has been integrated into this basket, allowing for both mitigation of the need for additional deployment frames, and then also mitigating the amount of trips that need to be taken by the crane to overboard said equipment into the seafloor. This particular unit is adapted with SCOFLOW units. We have adapter plates in addition to these that can integrate ILCs and logic caps, again, mitigating the need for additional equipment and deployment frames on the vessel. Some of the feedback that we got from our clients was that they liked that we incorporated an opening door on these particular units, and then the partitioned plates that you see here. They're all removable, so we can put any variety of size of equipment or tools in there needed for the ROV. Welcome to our testing area. This is a structure that we have built within our facility that allows for client and personnel safe space to watch for equipment testing. So at the beginning of this presentation, you saw that we tube bend, we manufacture. This is where we come in and complete the circle with the pressure testing. And you'll see that we have blast shields, and that's for the protection of other employees within the facility and guests. We utilize a camera-based system that feeds back to the TVs you saw in the client's viewable room during testing. This allows us to keep our personnel and our visitors safe during high-pressure testing so that they're not in these hazardous zones. We utilize a wide variety of additional safety items such as whip checks in case there's a failure or malfunction to the valves and hosing, that they don't just fly all over the place. They will be self-contained within this area. This particular unit is pressure testing the reliability and integrity of the steel tubes that were welded to the flushing cap for a subsea application by one of our clients. We've now entered into our carbon steel workshop. This is a standalone building that allows us to be able to work on carbon steel away from our super duplex tubing to mitigate the risk of contamination of dissimilar metals. The unit that we're showcasing now is our water jet. This allows us to cut our own plate up to about 3 inches, reducing the risk of schedule impact and cost impact by having our suppliers do that for us. Because there's work going on, we'll stay at a safe distance, but this is where we do all of our carbon steel manufacturing. All right, so as we start to wrap this up, we're going to walk out and see some of our rental asset fleet that we have available for major installations throughout the Gulf of Mexico and international market. We have lay chutes for the overboarding of SFLs and recovery of SFLs, umbilicals, and HFLs. We have EFL, HFL deployment frames. We'll take the products and we will do a figure 8 loop to these. They're both capable of handling approximately 1,000 feet of product per side. So we can get a wide variety of product length and quantity safely deployed, transported from our facility via truck, loaded onto a vessel, and then taken offshore for installation. We thank you for virtually visiting KOIL Energy. We appreciate your time and attendance and hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.